All right, Tim Adams, Chad Brendel, BearcatJournal.com. The rain has forced us inside, but we found a trophy case.
Yeah, I love these two Pontiac Bowls, or these two Motor City Bowls. It says that we were runners-up.
Yeah, runner-up in the bowl game.
That's the way to possibly charge it right there.
Well, it's time to get back on the winning track. I'm tired of talking about losing.
It's been brutal.
I don't want to talk about Miami. I didn't actually watch it. Unfortunately, I was at a basketball event down in Louisville, so I didn't get to see the game. So I don't have a good basis for things other than following on Twitter. So let's just go SMU. Zoom right past Miami. Do you have anything to say about the game in South Florida?
Well, I'll just say this. We did talk about Duke Johnson and Joseph Year being...
They were good.
Yeah, they were good. And we talked about the fact that both of them could go for the century mark, and they both did. The thing that shocked me was they did it on 18 touches. But, that Miami team is so fast that it came out, you looked at the speed difference in many places it wasn't. Even though I thought Gunner would start, he wasn't as sharp as he's been. He missed some wide open receivers. Now, the 3 interceptions for him, I think one of them was just pure luck that, came down and bounced off of McHale's foot and went in for the touchdown. But Gunner's a tough kid, cut out of the same mold as Brendan Kay. And I think each week he'll get a little bit better. But, Miami they're a good team, and they were certainly better than the...
And they're tough at home.
They are tough at home, although 43,000?
4,300. I saw pictures.
Whoa, it did not look anything close to 43,000 people.
4,300 people at Sun Life Stadium. SMU, they statistically have struggled, much like the Bearcats. They also, like Cincinnati, have faced a pretty good schedule.
Really good schedule.
Maybe even a notch above Cincinnati with Ohio State and Miami. They showed some signs of life against East Carolina. They're coming off a bye week, and could be kind of a trap laid in Dallas if Cincinnati doesn't come and build some momentum. I think they really need to build some momentum early in a game, get a stop or two, get off the field, have the defense start feeling good about themselves, because they can't afford to let this thing snowball any farther. No,
we saw the defense play better. I mean, they did get off the field a few times against Miami of Florida, and this is a crucial game. If you lose this game, and under what everybody thinks is a horrible SMU team, a team that lost its coach after game 2, but if you look below the surface, you see they played 4 nationally ranked teams that are still nationally ranked, all within the top 21. You had Baylor, who's number 4, I think, right now. You got TCU that's number 12. You got ECU that's either 18 or 19, and Texas A&M that's 21. So they've played a really good schedule. They've played 4 different quarterbacks. They had only scored 12 points total until the Eastern Carolina game. And the walk-on quarterback comes in. This was only a second start. He throws for 337 yards, 2 touchdowns, and those guys didn't quit. That's the one thing I watched.
They got down big early, and they
did. Yeah, they kept fighting until the end, and they had a chance where they got a turnover late. Where if they'd taken it in, they only would have been down 4. But I think they missed the field goal, and they were still down 11, and then they sort of faded a little bit down the stretch. But this is a team that hasn't been able to run the football yet. I think they've only got one runner that has 100 yards on the season, much less a game.
Yeah.
And you've got a Cincinnati team that's going to want to run the football. I think they will maybe try to run it with such a young, inexperienced quarterback.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at Cincinnati's numbers, it doesn't matter how bad, you want to try to run on that Cincinnati defense, because they haven't shown they've been able to stop it. You've got to prove that you can stop the run, or teams are just going to keep on trying to pound it at you. So you've got the movable force and the stoppable object that are clashing, and then I had to make sure I had that one right in my head before I said it. But
I'm still not sure it was right, but it was good.
Well,
it was
one's movable and one's stoppable, so they're going to play patty cake at the line. No, I'm just kidding. But Cincinnati's going to have to show they can stop the run. SMU's going to have to show they can run it. So which I think if you look at that specific matchup, that's going to be a pretty telling factor in how this game plays out.
I think it is. But we just got off down from the press conference with Coach Tuberville, and even though they don't have a lot of running backs right now, that's certainly what they want to do. The plan is going to be to run the football, to try to give the defense a little more time on the sideline, and whether they can do it or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that if they're going to be able to run the football, this would be the game that they'd be able to do it in.
Yeah, SMU's defense has struggled overall. They've struggled against the run. They've struggled against the pass.
Their best two players are safeties.
Yeah.
And so that tells you a lot right there. And I think they're the leading two tacklers on the team.
Yeah, they're making a lot of plays 15 yards downfield,
Right.
10, 15 yards downfield. So, I looking at it, Cincinnati has one area of weakness in their defense where they've struggled, especially against the run. Offense has been strong. SMU was kind of struggling, and again, you have to look at the competition that they've played, but they've struggled on both sides of the ball. You have to think, hopefully this is a game where even if it gets into a shootout type situation, the Cincinnati offense will be able to put up more points than the SMU offense.
I think absolutely, and I think that even though the new kid, the quarterback, the junior, the walk-on, even though he had big numbers, I think he threw the ball 62 times,
Yeah.
had 47 completions for 337 yards. Most everything was underneath.
Well, yeah, if you got 47 completions for 300 yards, you're not airing it out.
And the times he did try to throw deep, he got intercepted on one of them, I remember. So I don't think, now they've got Darius Joseph back, the wide receiver that caught 2 touchdown passes late in the game when SMU came here.
Yeah.
He's a talented kid. They've got Deion Sanders Jr., who's out there, he's returning kicks, and he's not his dad, but he's not bad, he's only a sophomore.
He's made some electric plays for them in the return game.
So if you shut down the run, they're going to try to pass. I think underneath those shorter routes, those drag routes, those intermediate routes, and I don't think you're going to get burned deep by this team. But who knows? We'll see. But I think when you look at offensively, the thing that I see when I look at SMU is 32 sacks in 5 games.
Yeah.
They had 2 of their starting linemen were out the last game 2 weeks ago. Now they may be back, but still, 32 sacks is a lot of sacks. And you compare it to Cincinnati, who has 6 right now sacks. So they haven't done a very good job of protecting their quarterback, but I think this kid does a better job because he gets rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, a lot of it with the other guys. If you're holding on to the ball and you've got a spotty offensive line, you're going to get crushed.
Right.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do to prevent it unless the other team doesn't get into the backfield.
Right. So, Cincinnati's a 14-point favorite, something that we haven't been. Cincinnati hasn't been for the last. Well, I guess they were against Memphis. But and Memphis loses a game to Houston.
Yeah.
And they benched John O'Corn. I mean, there's a lot going on in the league, and a lot can still happen here. UCF is the charmed life, though. They just live the charmed life. I don't get it. I mean, everything works out with roses with them every week, it seems like.
Disney World is right there.
Right there. That must be it. Because I look at them every week and I go, geez, old Pete, can you get any more lucky than this?
And they're notorious for it over the past season and a half. So, Bearcats 14-point favorites. What are you thinking?
I'm kicking the trend. Every time I've gone with Bearcats last 3 weeks, they have lost. So what am I going to do this time? I'm going to go with SMU purely on the basis that I got to break this trend myself. I mean, I'm willing to take the hit.
You understand there's a possibility here that you might have to pick the Bearcats to lose the rest of the season.
I'm willing to take the hit if that's what it means I got to do.
I'm going to take the Bearcats. I took Miami last week.
You did. You took Memphis.
I took Cincinnati in a close one over Memphis.
Yeah.
But I took I think I took Cincinnati over Ohio State too. Yeah. And I finally broke the trend last week and took Miami. But I'm coming back to the light. I think the Cincinnati offense is going to be better than the SMU offense, and therefore Cincinnati wins what probably is going to be a rather high-scoring game. Tim, on the other hand,
I'm getting rid of the bad juju. I'm going with the SMU, and that way Cincinnati will win. Will be guaranteed to win because I've been right in 3 weeks anyway. So.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here from the 7th floor of the Lender Center. He's Tim Adams. I'm Chad Brendel, BearcatJournal.com.